Well, hello there, my dear children of the apocalypse. How are we doing today? Welcome to 2023 and welcome to week one of what is going to be our self-improvement journey. I had a spur-of-the-moment thought yesterday and I thought, you know what, there's 52 weeks in a year. How about we make one video every single week documenting the entirety of the process? And I decided to use, I believe it's Microsoft Tasks, to use a sort of system where I will build a set of discipline organized set of tasks every single week, right? So there'll be a thing that I want to, 5 things I want to accomplish this week. There's a book I want to read. There's a movie I want to watch. There's a video I want to make. There's an essay I want to write. And I'm going to go through that. In last video, which was uploaded in December, so 25th, I spoke briefly about my process of bulking, the process of getting big at the moment. And I'm currently sitting at 83 kilograms, which is way more than I thought I would have this early. And my ultimate goal is to move all the way to 90 by the end of February. And then I'm going to start slowly cutting back down to 85 as I start riding my bike again. And, as you can see, I finally have somewhat of a bicep setup, like the actual shirt, moves when I move the bicep, which still far from what I want to be at, still far from the chest strength that I want to accomplish. But I think for a month and a few days work, spectacular. Which means one thing, eating even more food. And nutrition is important. And I've, been a cook for last 3 years, and now I'm going into a completely different area of work. I'm becoming a writer, I'm becoming a content creator, scribbler, organizer. What I happened to mention was that I was writing a book. In fact, I'm writing several. I'm writing 3 different books. One is called Simplify Life, and that is sort of the set of rules or the set of directions. And it's not so much of a book as it is like sort of a guide, a manual. The other one is called Culinaromancer. It's a bit hard to word out. It's actually titled after a quest. Or rather a boss monster in RuneScape. And that's a cookbook. I'm essentially trying to compile my most used, my most loved recipes and put that into a sphere. When that will see the light of day is probably like 20 years, but besides the point, still working on it. The third one, which I find the most important, however, for my self-improvement journey, is titled Digesting Red. And it is a direct result of me getting into contact with the so-called red pill back in 2020. That was when my self-improvement journey started. That is when I started sort of reading into the manosphere and educating myself on the differences between alpha, beta, and dating and this. And I found that the more I tried to disprove it, the more I tried to go against what the core concepts were saying, the more I was trying to be like, I will prove this whole system wrong. I'll prove that this is incorrect. I'll prove that women don't, in fact, like a cocky, arrogant, self-centered man. The more I try to disprove it, the more I realize it works. And I found myself in a loophole because I lived for, at the time I was 22, 23 years old. That is, your entire life, you believe in a certain set of rules and a certain set of dogmas. You believe in a paradigm that's been set for you. That's been taught by your parents, that's been taught by your friends, that's been taught by your school system. And suddenly you're out there in the world and the world doesn't behave the way that you were taught. And it takes so much effort. And I'm still in the process. I'm still sort of trying to, grab the inner mind and pull it out and, replace it. Sort of like Neo in the Matrix. It is a painful process, and that's why I began writing this book through a set of essays. Essentially, the way I've compiled it is that I take a title that briefly covers what the story will be about. Then I take a quote from either a movie that I've watched that is good, or a book, or a piece of music, and then I try to build around sort of a story. Sometimes it's a bit more personal, it's a bit about me. Sometimes it's a little bit less personal, about somebody else. I can say honestly, the last thing I've been working on has been, I titled it The Letter That I Will Not Regret. As you know, I went through a relatively painful breakup a couple of months ago, which set me into a bit of a depressive state. And I was in this weird mood where there were three ways I was sort of countering the inner thoughts of this woman. On one hand, I would, if the emotions were very, very strong, I would go and I would work out. Instead of thinking about her, I would go and I would put that energy into my body. The second way that I did it was when the emotions were sort of fluctuating, I would go and I would read a book. I would educate myself, and try to use that as a sort of catalyst to remove some of that tension. But if the emotions were sort of soft and yet still intense, what I actually did was I started writing. I found that putting things down on a piece of paper or in a Word document, it would alleviate some of that pain, some of that stress that I would normally feel. And I started writing this letter that I was, initially in my still sort of blue conditioning, I was thinking about how I could win this woman back and how I could do it in a emotionally almost manipulative way. I thought about sending it to her for Christmas. And I later decided I'm not going to do that I had made already too much amends to try to get her back, that I've done too much effort, that it's not fair to me, but most importantly, it's not fair to her. However, I decided I would continue to write on it because it's not just about her, it's not just about me, it's a culmination of things. I was speaking it about my granddad and difficulty of upbringing, and I developed this a really interesting subtitle. It's called Slave Theory. It's brilliant, and I hope one day throughout this year I'll be able to explain a little bit more on it. So my thought process, as I thought the way we're going to continue for this year, is that I'm going to write at least one essay every single week, and I'm going to consume at least, I want to say 1 to 2 books per month, and I will do my utter best to upload one video per week to this YouTube channel and use the titles of the essay, in fact, as sort of a way to transcribe into the video. So you will see a title one day that will say The Slave Theory, and you're going to watch it and you're going to think, what the hell is this dude talking about? But I do find it a really interesting concept, and many others that I've developed. And hopefully by the end of the year, not only will we have a video set, a sort of combination of videos, 52 videos of length that can be put together into a highlight. Not only will you get to see me standing here in a white shirt every single time, hopefully getting progressively bigger and happier. Ultimately, we're going to get shit done. I'm going to get a book pretty much fully written. We're going to have, a strong body, strong mind, and hopefully we are richer at the end of this, thoroughly together. Now, what does this mean for all the other aspects? Am I letting go of Doom Time completely? No, in fact, I want to do Doom Time, but I want to do it with other people. So I don't have the time for it right now, but hopefully in February or March, I'm able to do a little bit of testing. But that's what I want. I want to do like a Zoom call or a Discord call or a Skype call or a Facebook Messenger or whatever, and have my old fellow content creators. I still want to talk about War Thunder, weird enough, because I'm curious what they think about it. I'm curious where they are. I still have thoughts of World War II. I still find that era of history so very interesting. But I also want to talk to them about things that are happening now. I want to talk to them about things that are happening in their life, how they have changed, right? Because it's been years. I started making content, I think 10 years ago now. It's bizarre to think how much we have changed as individuals. How I started when I was like, 15, 16 years old, and I'm now a 25-year-old grown-up man. And so I want to have those conversations. I want to have that discourse. So I'm not giving up on the idea of Doom Time, but I don't want it to be me sitting in front of a camera all gloomy for 2.5 hours. I want it to be a lively, energetic conversation with other intelligent individuals. And to end this on a note, I've decided most of these videos will be between, I want to say 7 and 15 minutes of length. It's not too much to consume. It's not too far to consume. All in all you have to know for today is that I'm in good spirit. I'm in good energy. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling happy. And I want to build a routine that will create a dynamic where I can perpetuate this forward. Like I spoke in the last video, it's all about the snowballing effect. And I feel like if I don't give the action out there, if we don't do these rules, in fact, speaking of rules, maybe I'll do the whole Simplify Life thing. Maybe we're going to do that as well. Maybe, you know what, let's make it 12 rules. Here, I've just spur of the moment. It will be 12 rules. We'll do one per month. At the end of January, the end of February, the end of March, and so on, I'm going to bring out one of these videos dedicated to that rule. And it'll be like a sum up of the 4 weeks of that month. And we're going to try to use that rule to create traction, to give you some kind of a boost. And I already know what the title of the first one's going to be. It's going to be action, because action is that which creates the snowball effect, which then motivates you to do more, to succeed more, to be happier, to be more fulfilled, and to just generally be a better person. So until next week, have fun and safe flying.